there's a whole trend of people giving advice on what self care should look like, what it should feel like, what everyone should do for self care. I don't believe that self care is one size fits all. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. I hope that the atmosphere and the message in this video makes you consider subscribing and staying subscribed. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about confidence and security. Have you ever come across like a confident person and just a person who comes across as secure and thought to yourself, like, how on earth did they attain this pinnacle of existence? Well, you're in luck because in this video, I'm going to be sharing a few tips that helped me personally not only begin to appear more confident and secure, but to actually feel that way because there's a difference, right? And the journey to confidence is not a straight shot, and you're not just going to wake up one day and be a confident person or be a person who is secure in themselves and in their abilities and just in who they are generally. I remember one of the very first things I started to do on my confidence journey was I started to practice more self care. And I'm aware of the fact that there's a whole trend of people giving advice on what self care should look like, what it should feel like, what everyone should do for self care. I don't believe that self care is one size fits all. So, what self care looks like to one person would be different from what self care looks like to me. Self care for some people might be as simple as journaling every day and offloading things from their mind so that they sleep better. Self care for somebody else might look like taking 2 showers every day. Some of the things I do for self care is as simple as I like to get a pedicure, I like to get my nails done. I love to take pictures. Taking pictures makes me feel like I'm looking after myself in the sense that I feel like I am documenting my life and making memories for my family and I. And for somebody else who maybe can afford it, self care might look like taking a trip somewhere that doesn't necessarily have to be outside of the country they live in once a month, for example. So self care is person specific. It's not something that you can just drop and say, well, this is what you do for self care. Go do that and you're going to feel okay. It's really as simple as if you don't take care of yourself, you don't feel taken care of. And that has one of the biggest tolls on your confidence or how you present yourself or how you walk or how you even talk to people and relate with people. If I don't feel taken care of on the inside and I don't feel like I've looked after myself, it definitely will have a toll on how I present myself and how I even speak to people. This is dicey, and I know that we've heard this a lot of times, but part of self care is you are what you eat. And you don't even have to be on a diet or count calories or anything like that. Self care is being more intentional about some of the things that you spend your time doing. Engage in more activities that bring you joy, that make you feel relaxed. And for some people, their love language is receiving love from their loved ones, feeling taken care of by their loved ones. I think that it's important that you realize that the people who love us are human beings as well. They have their own jobs and careers, and they have their own problems, even. And sometimes they wouldn't be able to show up for us in the way that they typically would, or just in the way that we expect them to. I think that in understanding that, as a person who loves to receive care and love, I think that in understanding that the person that you have these expectations of is a human being just like you. They have problems just like you. They have their own shortcomings just like you. You truly understand that it's okay to actually do these things for yourself sometimes. No one can make you feel good about yourself if you don't decide that I want to feel good about myself. I want my head to be in the game. Basically, I think that it's important to figure out what self-care looks like for you, what self-care feels like for you, and baby steps. Really, you're not going to wake up one day and totally become a person who fervently takes care of themselves. It's going to be a process, and you're going to need to give yourself grace. Just It's just important to make intentional moves every day towards becoming a person who looks after themselves. Another thing that I remember doing in my confidence journey is celebrating myself, celebrating my successes. See, it doesn't matter how small the win is in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't matter who is watching, it doesn't matter who is cheering along with me. I will celebrate myself. I think that that's like the gateway to becoming more confident. to feeling more secure in your abilities to smash your goals, to just reach for the stars. A person who doesn't acknowledge or celebrate themselves and expects that other people will celebrate and acknowledge them, is it doesn't really add up, right? And so when I began to celebrate my wins regardless of how little they were, or just celebrate my successes regardless of how far away I was or I am from the main goal, it just became easier to feel more confident in myself, to feel like I can do this. So many of us are stuck in the bubble of, I don't feel celebrated, or I don't feel like the people that I love the most are celebrating me. I don't feel like they're cheering for me. I think that the real question is, are you cheering for yourself? Do you really believe in yourself? And are you clapping for yourself? Because I really think that one of the most important things in the grand scheme of becoming a more confident individual is celebrating yourself. Imagine not celebrating yourself and expecting that other people will celebrate you. You have to be cheering yourself on first. You have to be celebrating yourself first. You have to clap for yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're already making a lot of moves towards your goals. Another thing is challenging your self limiting doubts. Many of us are masters and mistresses of speaking to our friends and loved ones with kindness and with such gentleness, and giving them, raising their spirits when they feel low or when they have failed at something, and just giving them words of encouragement. But are you really maintaining the same energy with yourself? How do you speak to yourself? Are you speaking to yourself kindly? It's important to understand that it doesn't matter how great of a person you are or how far along you are in your confidence journey, you will mess up. There will be times that you will do things that don't align with your values as a person, or just don't align with who you want to be. And then you're thinking, like, why the heck did I do this? Why did I do this? Why did I let this happen? And I think that it's one thing to acknowledge that you've messed up, but it's another thing to really slow down and listen to how you're speaking to yourself. I consider myself to be a person who speaks to everyone with kindness. I'm just offering love and kindness, but I didn't always speak to myself that way. I've only now recently just started to speak to myself with kindness and to just be more gentle with myself. Everyone makes mistakes, but the good thing about mistakes is, or the good thing about life generally is, there's always room for improvements. And so acknowledge when you've done something wrong, but speak to yourself kindly, give yourself grace. I think it's more typical with people who are generally kind to others. We forget to be kind to ourselves. We forget to speak to ourselves with gentleness and with kindness. It's okay to make mistakes, right? I think where the problem lies is remaining cognizant or refusing to improve. There's always room for improvement, especially in private. Practice speaking to yourself with kindness in private, because when you do not, it shines through when you're around other people, and then you're vulnerable, you're easy to take advantage of. You treat yourself how you want people to treat you. I know that it's a popular saying to treat people how you want to be treated, but also treat yourself how you want other people to treat you. Some of the love you give to others, save some for yourself, because it's really important in your journey to becoming a more confident version of yourself. Another thing that I believe helped me on this journey and is continuing to help me is understanding that setbacks and failures are a normal and natural part of the process of living one's life and growing and learning. It's very easy to offer advice to someone and love them through picking up the pieces when they've unfortunately failed at something. But before now, when I failed at something, it was so difficult to pick up the pieces, so hard to recover from anything that didn't go the way that I had planned. I would beat myself up for so long. I would think about all of the reasons that it was my fault that it didn't work out, and I wasn't doing it in a kind way as well. Understanding that setbacks and failures are a normal and natural part of the process of living one's life and growing and learning would help a lot in becoming a more confident and more secure version of yourself. Because when something unfortunately doesn't work out the way that you had planned it, it's easier for you to still feel secure in your abilities to succeed when you do try again. And now it's easier for you to look at it from the perspective that you are now more equipped with more knowledge about this thing that you failed at. And if it's something that you're interested in giving a second go, you're not doing it as a novice, or you're not limited to the information that you did it with prior, because now you know that there are better ways to do it. The concept of shame unfortunately cripples us into thinking that other people who are failing and falling and getting up just like us will be ashamed of us. I don't think anyone is a finished piece of work. We're all a work in progress. The earlier you understand that, the easier it is for you to be more confident, even around people who you think are more successful than you, who you think are more confident than you, who you think are more secure than you. Because then you don't see them as perfect, complete pieces of work. You see them also as a work in progress, just like you. Another thing that really helped me in my confidence journey is accepting myself. I started to appreciate myself right where I was, with the understanding at the back of my mind that everyone that I looked up to and everyone that I took inspiration from, or everyone that I thought was doing fantastic, also had things that they needed to improve on. I may not necessarily have information about what they're improving themselves on, but it's impossible that they're not that they don't have things that they need to improve on. It's impossible that they're perfect. We're all a work in progress. And so when I began to accept myself, not tell myself that, oh, you're perfect, you don't have to do anything, but when I began to see clearly where I was, what I needed to do, but even though there were things that I needed to do, accepting myself right where I was offered me a great deal of help in my confidence journey, because I knew at the back of my mind that even though I was a work in progress and I had a lot to work on, everyone else was in that process and everyone else had things that they needed to work on. And so I wasn't going to beat myself up for not being who I needed to be. And I don't mean encourage yourself to be obstinate and stuck in your ways and just encourage yourself not to improve. But even though you have at the back of your mind the things that you need to do to become a better version of yourself, you also appreciate yourself the entire way there. So that way, even in your process, you are becoming confident. You are loving yourself through your process and you're being gentle with yourself. It's in accepting yourself that you make peace with who you are currently and you get a clear picture of who you are trying to be. This brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned one thing or two from my confidence journey. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you as always. Please leave me a comment about your personal confidence journey, where you are, and some of the things that you've also done in your personal confidence journey, and share some tips that may help me as I continue to grow in my confidence journey. Once again, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps this channel to grow. And until my next video, toodles!